The allure of Port St. Lucie, Florida might seem as baked in as its beachside sunrise. But it wasn't always for Larry Lee.
My wife did not want to move back here. She wanted Atlanta. And I said, look, just trust me, this place is gonna boom.
Atlanta is where I live. Decades back, when Lee and his wife were deciding where to settle, Atlanta was becoming known as a black Mecca. It's still known as that today. But the region Lee chose, while not nearly as large, has become its own model for black economic excellence.
Blacks from other areas, they are coming here, and it's becoming like a Mecca.
Lee and his friend Al Johnson sit at one of Johnson's 6 Jackson Hewitt locations. According to Brookings, black businesses in their area pay higher average salaries than in any other region in America. It's an outstanding distinction. To understand it, you must also understand its other racial distinction that eludes nearly every other city in our country.
Port St. Lucie is really the perfect experiment of what America should be.
A recent study out of Berkeley used census data to determine where people of different races lived in more than 100 American cities. Every city was considered to some degree segregated, except for 2, Colorado Springs and Port St. Lucie.
You have no black community, you don't have no Hispanic community, no white community. They don't even have a downtown.
Get past the coast, and Port St. Lucie is a standard mid-sized Floridian city. It's also a young city, barely 60 years old. Because of that, it avoided the systemic and segregationist housing policies that affect most cities to this day.
There was no redlining.
No redlining.
There was nobody to say you cannot move in here. If you had the money, you could do it.
Johnson and Lee are among those who did it, both here and the next city north.
So there's Port St. Lucie, and then there's Fort Pierce.
Yes.
Fort Pierce is smaller. It's older. It didn't avoid systemic segregation. The remnants and struggles still exist.
I know what it feels like to be the only black person in a classroom.
Caneria Gardner runs the Incubate Leadership Center, where rising black entrepreneurs converse, record,
And much more.
and build their businesses.
It's a food desert. It's a health desert. People that come through our doors, they consider themselves the underdog.
But Fort Pierce is part of that Port St. Lucie statistic. Lee and Johnson run businesses there too. And the incubator holds that same energy people often attribute to Atlanta.
They might be in the same industry, but they're going to trade shows together. They're doing networking events together. And so our thing is we just want to uplift others.
Amidst excellence remain frustrations. Port St. Lucie has never elected a black city council member. The region hadn't elected a black state representative until Larry Lee in 2012. But unlike those sunrises on the ocean, excellence is never inevitable. In this city, it's the result of effort, integration, and a rising tide lifting all business.
People know our heart, they know our concern for people, regardless of your race, creed, or color, that we're gonna do the right thing.
In Port St. Lucie, Florida, I'm Matt Pearl.